Oh, Zero Cool here. Jumping out, making a video here on level up or trash them. And basically, here we're just gonna pick characters out there that either you should level them up or trash them based on everything they bring to the table. So big one we got up is Shuri. She is basically an older character. She's a legendary character out there who's been there for quite a minute. And when she first came out, she was a very, very strong character. She was very, very powerful with her healing. Didn't really bring too much to the table in terms of attacking, but her special, ultimate, and her passive were the ones that did a lot of the work. But when you look at her basically you're only attacking for 200% if you put in the TL4, plus you do a heal blocks on the primary target, and you could do it for 2 turns if you put in the T4. So that was pretty powerful back in the day, because hey, we could make sure you'd attack them and then they can't heal up right away. So that's a pretty good, decently good basic. And the big one, which comes in her special, you apply defense up to all allies. So it's not really doing anything specifically with the Wakandans, it's anybody on her team. So this gave her, as a legendary, some really good positive, it gave people some sustain, because hey, some characters can attack pretty damn hard and that defense up helps. Plus she gets 1 charge while she's at it, and then any Wakandan allies. And then she could generate ability energy for 2 random allies. So there's no Wakandan tags tied to it. It's anybody on the team. So she gives out ability energy to anybody that's around her, any 2 actual allies. Plus, if you do her T4 on this one, you generate another ability energy for 1 random Wakandan ally. So if you do got a Wakandan allies, then you might be able to go ahead and you'll be able to give them an actual ability energy, but kind of iffy because the Wakandans have kind of fallen off. Now the big one is the Kimono healing. Basically heal the most injured ally for 250 health plus 15% of this character's max health. Now if this ally is Wakandan, clear 1 negative effect, then you repeat this 3 times. Basically you're just healing them up, and it's just like, whoa. Like, all right, we're getting a lot of healing back here. Back in the day, like I said, this was a very powerful ability, mainly because hey, you go ahead and you heal somebody for it and you keep people inside the game, and it didn't really matter whether or not, it didn't matter who was on the team. She can do it to any ally on the team. So it does come out to a little bit of it, but it's just she's fallen off so far that it's just like, well, okay, she's Shuri, she can help, but it's the defense, it's her special and sometimes her ultimate that does play a little bit of a role. Now 15% of this character's max health isn't a lot, since her total max out health, if you do it to gear 15, is only about 300,000, and that's with the new gear tiers giving her some type of increase. But the Wakandans, along with Shuri, is definitely due for a rework to bring them back into, they don't have to be in the next meta characters, but could bring them back into the fold to be a decent team. They used to be a very good raid team and then just completely fell off. Now her passive, on spawn, she applies speed up to self and to random Wakandan allies. So they have to be Wakandan for this actual passive to get a speed up. Otherwise, it's just Shuri. On turn, she's gonna heal the most injured ally for 10% of this character's max health. So even maxing her out, she comes out to like what? Maybe almost 320k. So 10% of that is 32,000. So it's somewhat of a decent heal, and that's just any random ally. So she's gonna heal somebody on every turn that she's doing. Then if she's charged, she can heal an additional most injured ally for 10% of this character. So that's another 10%. So it does have somewhat benefit because of the charge mechanic, but it's not that big of a deal. On defense up, generate ability energy for self. So if she's got special, as soon as she's got that special up, boom, her next turn she's going to generate ability energy for herself, which pushes that, ultimate or that special again. In raids, this is where she can give a little bit more sustainability, is that her ally, the Wakandan allies, get 20% max health, 20% max armor, and then when an ally drops below 50%, gain 3 deflect. So the 3 deflect does help to a certain point, but they gotta get below 50%, and with these larger health pools, it can take a second, but sometimes these raids, especially in the Doom raids, can be a lot harder than they look. Now, once you drop below 50%, she's gonna put on 3 deflect, but sometimes even with the new game mechanics, the deflect doesn't really work as much as it should. But in terms of stats, Shuri definitely has fallen off. She's basically gone down to the lower tiers of the game because, hey, she's number 151 on health. Doesn't really hit that hard in terms of damage and everything else. She's not as fast, but not as slow as a lot of other characters. So given the fact that she's an older character, plus she's a legendary, she's definitely due for a rework and a retune. Give her just a little bit more sustainability, maybe a little bit better healing. That way she could go ahead and pose I won't say a bigger threat, but she could definitely be a better support character. Because, like I said, when she first came out, she was one of the first legendaries. She basically did have a lot of sustain on there, and she could help out your team and help out in raids. But now it's become, she's kind of been pushed to the back end. So, looking at her at the moment, I'm gonna have to say no. Gonna have to go ahead and say trash them. Just leave Shuri where she's at least until she gets a rework, if that's even coming down the pipeline. Shuri can be pretty damn good, but she's got a lot. You got a lot longer to go to, especially you got to push her up further and further to get towards that, you know, the higher health pool, so she can heal the team a lot. But if you're looking just for a character just to push up some, you know, to further push out when you're at the lower levels, Shuri can help. But when you get towards the higher levels and the higher health pools and getting closer to level 85, it does become a bit of an issue. I'd have to say no. She's got to bounce because she's not as effective as she used to. Sorry, Shuri. Maybe by the next movie they'll give her a nice rework and it'll be okay. But until then, it doesn't look like it. But you know what? So the next video, I gotta go ahead and say it. Just, hey man, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're just gonna be putting out videos, helping people out here. So until the next video, deuces.